The Likeability Trap by Alicia Menendez Audiobook Summary. You say yes when you want to say no. You stay silent when you have valuable ideas. You apologize for things that are not your fault. Sound familiar? If that's the case, you're probably caught in the likability trap, and it is costing you more than you realize. In fact, research shows that people pleasers often become less influential over time, not more. Teams stop bringing them challenging problems. Colleagues work around them instead of with them. The very approval they seek starts slipping away as they burn out from putting everyone else first. The good news is that this pattern is completely changeable. Thousands of professionals have transformed from exhausted people pleasers into respected, authentic leaders. They learn to set boundaries without guilt, express disagreement without damaging relationships, and build deeper connections based on mutual respect rather than constant accommodation. This summary will kickstart your journey from people-pleasing to authenticity, because once you see the trap clearly, you can begin breaking free. All right, let's dive straight in. Number 1. Recognizing the trap. Every week, Priya sits quietly in the strategy meeting, watching her colleagues discuss the new product launch timeline. She knows the deadline is unrealistic. The team lacks the resources, and rushing will create quality issues that could damage customer relationships. Yet, as she looks around the table, everyone nods in agreement. The silence grows heavy. Priya opens her mouth to speak, then closes it. She tells herself that challenging the timeline might make her look difficult. Maybe the others see something she doesn't. She stays quiet, and the meeting moves forward with a plan destined to fail. The scenario plays out in offices worldwide every single day. You've probably been there yourself, swallowing your concerns to avoid rocking the boat. This is the likability trap in action, and it costs organizations billions in missed opportunities, failed projects, and employee burnout. So, how does the likability trap happen, you might be asking? It usually starts with you prioritizing being well-liked over being effective. When you avoid necessary conflicts, sugarcoat feedback, or say yes when you should say no, your brain tricks you into believing that being agreeable equals being valuable. But here's what actually happens. The opposite proves true. In fact, research shows that leaders who never challenge ideas or push back on poor decisions quickly lose credibility. Teams stop bringing them important problems, colleagues begin working around them. The very approval they sought starts slipping away. You might recognize some warning signs in your own behavior already. You might find yourself agreeing with ideas that feel wrong. Or maybe you volunteer for extra projects when your plate is already full. You even phrase strong opinions as gentle suggestions, diluting your message until it becomes meaningless. The reason people-pleasing feels so comfortable is those short-term social rewards. People smile when you agree. They thank you for taking on extra work or canceling your plans to stay late. But these temporary good feelings come with a steep hidden cost. You become less influential over time, not more. And because you are putting your need to be liked ahead of your other needs, like social time or rest, you are also headed for burnout. Breaking free starts with honest self-reflection. Notice when you bite your tongue during important discussions. Pay attention to the gap between what you think and what you say. You can even start tracking how often you compromise your judgment to avoid disappointing others. Recognition is the first step toward freedom. Once you see the pattern clearly, you can begin changing it. Because your authentic voice has value, and your organization needs to hear it. Number 2. Rewrite the script. Most people-pleasing behaviors run on autopilot, following scripts written long ago. These mental patterns convince you that disagreement equals hostility, that saying no makes you selfish, or that your worth depends on not disappointing anyone. These beliefs feel true because you have practiced them for years. but they are actually learned responses that can be unlearned. These beliefs run on internal scripts. They whisper that speaking up will damage relationships. They insist that others will think less of you if you set boundaries. This voice feels protective, but it actually limits your potential and exhausts your energy. The first step in rewriting your script involves separating facts from fears. When you want to voice a concern, your brain might flood you with worst-case scenarios, but most of these predictions never come true. The colleague who disagrees with you rarely holds a grudge, and the boss who receives your honest feedback usually respects your candor. Speaking of honest feedback, remember Priya from earlier? Let's go back to her story and see how her inner script played out. 3 weeks after staying silent about the unrealistic timeline, Priya watched the project unravel exactly as she predicted. The team worked overtime, customers complained about quality issues, and morale plummeted. Her manager, Kenji, called an emergency meeting to address the crisis. This time, Priya made a different choice. She stopped thinking about how her words might be received and focused on her responsibility to the team and the company. She spoke up about the warning signs she noticed early on and suggested concrete solutions. Rather than getting defensive, Kenji thanked her for the insights and asked why she waited so long to share them. That conversation Priya feared would damage her reputation actually strengthened it. Her colleagues began seeking her input more often. Kenji started including her in strategic discussions. By shifting from people-pleasing to problem-solving, she became more valuable, not less. This brings us to the practical side of rewriting your script. Start by questioning your assumptions about what others expect from you. Most people want competence and honesty more than constant agreement. They respect colleagues who contribute thoughtfully, even when that contribution involves pushback. So where do you begin? Start with low-stakes situations to build your confidence. Express a preference about lunch options or suggest a different approach to a minor task. You'll notice that the world does not end when you assert yourself respectfully. One by one, you can use these small successes to challenge your people-pleasing script. Number 3. From people-pleasing to authenticity. Once you recognize the trap and start rewriting your internal script, you'll face a new challenge. Rebuilding relationships based on authenticity instead of approval seeking. This process feels uncomfortable because you are changing the rules of engagement with people who have grown accustomed to the inauthentic you. Many recovering people pleasers worry that others will reject their more authentic selves. This fear makes sense because some relationships were built entirely on your willingness to say yes, avoid conflict, and prioritize others' needs above your own. But here lies an important truth. Relationships that cannot survive your authenticity were never truly supportive relationships to begin with. Why? Because authentic relationships operate on mutual respect, not one-sided accommodation. And the moment you stop automatically agreeing, you create space for genuine dialogue. When you express your real thoughts, you invite others to do the same. When you set reasonable boundaries, you model healthy behavior that benefits everyone involved. Now, this transition period requires patience. Others need time to adjust to your changes. Colleagues who relied on your constant availability might initially resist your new boundaries. Friends who enjoyed your endless flexibility might feel confused by your newfound assertiveness. This pushback is normal and temporary. Let's check back with Priya to see how this played out over time. 6 months after her breakthrough moment with Kenji, Priya noticed her relationships at work had fundamentally shifted. Her team members now approached her with complex problems instead of just routine tasks. They even sought her perspective during planning sessions and respected her input even when she disagreed with popular opinions. But the biggest surprise came from how much deeper her colleague relationships grew. Previously, their interactions stayed superficial because Priya always agreed with everyone's suggestions, even when she had better ideas. Now, she engaged in spirited debates about project approaches, challenged others' assumptions, and collaborated more effectively as a result. So how do you actually build these authentic relationships? Through small, consistent actions rather than dramatic gestures. Start by sharing your genuine reactions to ideas and situations. Express appreciation for specific actions instead of offering generic praise. You can even try practicing the art of respectful disagreement. This involves challenging ideas without attacking people. Use phrases like, "I see it differently," or "My experience suggests another approach." Focus on the issue at hand instead of making personal judgments. These authentic relationships take time to develop, sure, but they provide the deep connection and mutual respect that no people-pleasing relationship ever could. Each honest conversation, each boundary held, each disagreement voiced respectfully, they all build toward something real, something worth having. Number 4. Set boundaries that stick. Boundaries represent the final frontier for recovering people pleasers. You can recognize the trap and rewrite your script, but without clear boundaries, you will inevitably slide back into old patterns. Boundaries protect your time, energy, and values while allowing you to show up authentically in every relationship. Many people misunderstand boundaries as selfish barriers that keep others away. The opposite holds true. Healthy boundaries create the conditions for deeper, more sustainable relationships. When you clearly communicate your limits, others know where they stand and can adjust their expectations accordingly. The key to effective boundary setting lies in being specific rather than vague. This involves saying exactly what you can and cannot commit to rather than claiming you're too busy. Rather than hoping others will sense your discomfort, state your needs directly. This is because clarity prevents misunderstandings and reduces the need for repeated conversations about the same issues. Timing matters too. Boundaries work best when you set them proactively rather than reactively. Think about it. Waiting until you feel overwhelmed or resentful makes the conversation more charged and difficult. But when you establish limits while you still have emotional bandwidth, you create space for calmer, more productive discussions. Let's return to Priya's journey and see how this plays out in practice. 9 months into her transformation, she faced her biggest boundary challenge yet. Her manager, Kenji, asked her to lead a high-profile project that would require extensive travel and weekend work for 6 months. The old Priya would have said yes immediately, despite having promised her partner she would reduce her travel schedule. This time, Priya requested 24 hours to consider the opportunity. She evaluated the project against her current commitments and personal priorities. When she met with Kenji the next day, she expressed genuine interest in the project, but explained that the travel requirements conflicted with family commitments she had made. Rather than offering a flat refusal, Priya proposed an alternative. She could lead the project if they restructured it to include virtual meetings for half the client visits. Kenji initially resisted, but Priya explained how this approach might actually improve client relationships by making interactions more frequent and accessible. The result? A creative solution that worked for everyone. Priya got to lead an exciting project without sacrificing her personal commitments, and the company discovered that hybrid client engagement actually increased satisfaction scores. What can you learn from Priya's approach? Setting workplace boundaries requires diplomatic firmness. Use phrases like, "That timeline won't work for me," instead of, "I can't do that." Offer alternatives when possible, but avoid over-explaining your decisions. After all, your time and availability are valuable resources that deserve protection. Number 5. Sustain your transformation. Breaking free from people-pleasing patterns is just the beginning. The real challenge lies in maintaining your authentic behavior over time, especially when faced with setbacks, difficult people, and high-pressure situations that trigger your old responses. It turns out that sustainable change requires ongoing vigilance and self-compassion when you inevitably slip back into familiar patterns. The most important thing to expect is that setbacks can happen. Even after months of progress, you might find yourself saying yes when you meant to say no, or avoiding a necessary conversation because it feels too uncomfortable. However, these moments do not erase your growth. They are normal parts of the learning process that provide valuable information about your triggers and weak spots. When you catch yourself slipping, Skip the self-hatred and get curious instead. What triggered the old behavior? Exhaustion? A particular type of person? Specific phrases that still make you freeze? Map your patterns, build strategies. The data matters more than the disappointment. Difficult people will test you hardest. They sense reformed people pleasers like sharks smell blood. They guilt trip when you set boundaries. They rage when you disagree. They demand your weekends, your evenings, your sanity. Your body remembers how much easier life felt when you just said yes to everything. 18 months after starting her journey, Priya encountered exactly this challenge. A new director named Marcus joined her organization with a reputation for being demanding and volatile. Within weeks, he began asking team members to work late nights and weekends without additional compensation. Priya held her ground at first. She completed her work efficiently during business hours and went home. Marcus retaliated immediately, questioning her commitment in meetings, making snide remarks about her priorities, suggesting she lacked team spirit. The pressure felt suffocating. Her confidence wobbled. Dealing with people like Marcus requires preparation. Script your responses before you need them. When someone says, "A real team player would stay late," know exactly how you'll respond. Build a network of people who get what you're doing. Colleagues who respect boundaries, friends who fought similar battles, mentors who've survived their own transformations. You can also set up systems that keep you accountable. Schedule regular check-ins with someone who'll call you out when you start backsliding. Track your wins and losses in a journal. Nothing elaborate, just enough to spot patterns and measure progress. Notice which situations still make you cave. Notice where you're getting stronger. Some days you'll choose authenticity. Other days you'll choose the familiar comfort of keeping everyone happy. Both choices teach you something. Progress looks like choosing yourself more often than you used to, even when the ratio isn't perfect. Conclusion. The main takeaway of this summary to The Likeability Trap by Alicia Menendez is that your deep-seated need for approval from others is quietly undermining the influence and respect you seek. To break the cycle, you need to recognize your people-pleasing behaviors and examine the fears driving them. Those relationships built on endless accommodation have to become authentic connections based on honest communication and clear boundaries. You'll need to practice expressing disagreement respectfully and setting limits without guilt or over-explanation. Finally, the transformation only lasts when you maintain self-awareness, lean on support from real connections, and mentally prepare for the difficult people who will test your hard-won authenticity. Okay, that's it for this summary. We hope you enjoyed it. If you can, please smash that like button and subscribe. See you in the next summary. Thank you.